All right, bitches. So we're here for episode 17 of Dragon Ball Super. And this one is called Pan is Born and Goku Goes Off on a Training Journey. So obviously, this is going to be explaining how Goku gets over to Whis' planet and begins training with Vegeta. Now, at the end of the episode recap, it does mention that half a year has gone by since Vegeta left with Whis to begin his training. So clearly, this is going to be how they explain Vegeta closing the gap with Goku in terms of their strength, because Vegeta really has not been close to Goku probably ever since Goku came out of the hyperbolic time chamber towards the end of the Cell Saga. Ever since then, Goku has maintained a significant gap in their powers. And this 6 months of training with Whis, I guess, is supposed to be the closing of that gap that Goku extended even further once he became a Super Saiyan God. Now, the episode opens up, and it's this is mostly I guess a filler episode, because they could have explained Goku getting to Whis' planet really in about 2 minutes. But the episode opens up with Mr. Satan playing around with Pan because Pan is now born, and Gohan comes in and he transforms into his Great Saiyan Man costume. And, him and Mr. Satan are kind of like, joyfully fighting, playing around to kind of entertain Pan. But I have to admit, it is a huge, huge disappointment to see, like, Gohan is, like, fighting with Mr. Satan, like, par for par. And it's just like, damn, like, I know he's just playing around, but, like, this is the dude who beat Cell when he was, like, 11 years old. Super Saiyan 2, stronger than Goku, and now, like, he's, like, fighting on equal ground with Mr. Satan, just a normal human, and it's so rough to see. Like, oh, Gohan, how the mighty have fallen, so devastating. Then, of course, just to really hammer home the point that it's a filler episode, Chi-Chi has to come in and, she gets all mad that Mr. Satan and Gohan are playing around and Pan is kind of being, thrown in the air, and she doesn't want Pan to be a warrior like Goku because Goku is lazy and blah, 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 blah. We've heard this same story from Chi-Chi over and over across the 500 episodes of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, and now Super. And it's like, damn, Chi-Chi, just let them train. You've seen them save the world, I don't know, about 15 fucking times. You think you could chill out a little bit? I mean, look at Gohan. Gohan is this crazy, amazing, like, scholar. Like, you did your job as a mother. Goku saved the world a million times. He is trying to get a job. Like, just chill, girl, chill. And it is interesting, Mr. Satan does talk about how he wants Pan to be his successor, and he wants her to be a great martial arts champion. And him and Gohan, like, they are talking about how, the baby has Saiyan blood. It has, Mr. Satan's blood and Gohan's blood. So, the baby's going to be a great fighting champion. Then it cuts over to Bulma. Bulma is in her car, and, like, some bank robbers, like, speed past, and you see they're being chased by a police officer, which is obviously Krillin. And Bulma gets upset at the robbers because they scratched their car, so she, blazes past, 200 miles an hour and actually takes down the robbers. And, the police officer reveals that it is Krillin, and he thanks Bulma, but still gives her a ticket for speeding because, he has to be the good and honorable police officer. And it is pretty funny because Bulma does get really upset. Then at that moment, Krillin gets a phone call from Gohan, and Krillin and Bulma head over to Gohan's house where Chi-Chi has locked herself in a room and she's real upset with Pan and Videl. At that same time, Goten shows up with Goku, and they're all kind of just trying to calm Chi-Chi down, make her realize, like, Chi-Chi, listen, you're being a big, huge bitch and you need to chill, okay? Everyone just needs to chill. And Bulma, gets dragged into the room by Chi-Chi. And, her and Chi-Chi, they sympathize with each other, how, it's so tough having these Saiyan husbands. All they do is train. And Bulma just kind of casually mentions, yeah, Vegeta's been off for 6 months training with Whis. And Goku, Goten, Krillin, Gohan, and Mr. Satan are out in the hall in the next room. And Goku hears that and he's like, "What?" And he like blasts through the wall. It's hilarious. And he's like, "Vegeta's been training for a year. What the fuck? What is going on?" And Bulma basically tells Goku that Whis has been stopping by her house a lot to, try new good foods, and that the next time he comes by, she'll let Goku know so that Goku could try and train with Whis. And of course, Chi-Chi goes crazy, blah, 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 blah. And Krillin pulls Goku aside and kind of whispers to Goku, like, why don't you just look for Vegeta's energy and then you could teleport right over to him? And Goku does try this, but he is not able to sense Vegeta's energy, so clearly Vegeta must be too far away. Although perhaps Vegeta has reached, the blue-haired Super Saiyan state already, so that might be why Vegeta can't sense his energy, or that's why Goku can't sense Vegeta's energy. Who knows, maybe, that could be it. After this, we're treated to a number of funny scenes where, Bulma is like, just chilling at home, or she's like, doing work on the laptop, and Goku will just pop out of nowhere and be like, "Is Whis here yet? Is Whis here?" And like she gets out of the shower one time and Goku's standing there, and it is some comical scenes as Goku just kind of, his head just pops out of like the most random places and he's bothering Bulma. And she gets so annoyed by this that she gives Goku a smartphone, which is hilarious. And she says that as soon as Whis gets in contact with her, she'll let Goku know so that Goku can ask Whis to come train him. And then, some time passes, you see Goku just standing there looking at his phone like, damn, not calling yet, not calling yet. And Gohan becomes suspicious. And then when Bulma finally does call Goku, Goku flies off and he changes into his normal, orange fighting gi. Because the whole episode thus far, he's been wearing his normal, his work outfit. And Gohan follows Goku after Goku flies off to see Bulma and Whis. Goku arrives while Bulma and Whis are talking. And he asks Whis if Whis will train him. And, he does, he says it pretty politely, for Goku. Goku kind of is, kind of bowing and puts his hands together and he's asking, "Please, will you train me?" And Whis, it does seem like Whis, does appreciate Goku, being so polite and asking him, at least, bowing and, putting his hands together. And Whis agrees that he will train Goku because he thought it was about time that, that happened. Kind of implying maybe that since Vegeta has reached a similar level to Goku, he wants both of them to start training together, or, whatever Whis is really referring to there. It's not completely explained, but I do think it's meant to imply that Vegeta has reached Goku's power level. Now, Whis does say he'll train Goku, but he wants to finish, having his normal eating session with Bulma first. So now begins a long sequence where Goku's like, yeah, I'll wait patiently. And, Whis is like having orgasms eating all this different food. And Goku will pop in like, "Hey, are we ready to go yet? And Whis does kind of throw out, it seems like it might be a little bit of a throwaway dialogue line, but it is kind of a reference to the Resurrection of Frieza movie, it looks like, where he tells Goku, Goku, you need to, learn to calm yourself a little bit here. And then, of course, at this moment, Gohan comes flying in with Chi-Chi for no reason. It's like, Gohan, why would you tell Chi-Chi Goku's trying to train with Whis? And, Chi-Chi's running around yelling and stuff. And, she's like, putting Goku in like an arm bar. And Whis sees Goku arguing with Chi-Chi and he tells Bulma, like, this will go on for a while. I guess I'm going to head home now. And so Whis walks away to start flying home. And Goku just quickly runs away. He's like, "Chi-Chi, I'll talk to you later." And he kind of dives and, reaches on to Whis just as Whis starts to fly away. And Whis remarks, he's like, "Oh yeah, you really want to train, huh?" And Goku, he's like, Chi-Chi and all of them will be fine. And it does cut down to Chi-Chi, and as soon as like Goku and Whis are out of the picture, she just smiles and it's like, whatever, it'll be fine. And it's like, oh, come on now, Chi-Chi. That is some fucking bullshit. The second Goku gets out of there, you're not nagging anymore. Like, damn, she's hard on Goku. BS, man. BS. But that pretty much ends the episode. Very interestingly, though, in the scenes for the next episode, we see Goku and Vegeta are doing, it looks like, some training. Both Goku and Vegeta are in their Resurrection of Frieza outfits. But also, in the scenes for the next episode, they show us Sorbet, Tagoma, Shisami, all those Frieza dudes, who have a big role in the Resurrection of Frieza plotline. And then they also show Champa and Vados. Those are like the god of destruction, and then the sort of attendant Vados is similar to, the Whis kind of character, and then Champa is like Beerus, but they come from like a different universe. So it is interesting that so many new characters are going to be introduced in the next episode. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one.